Welcome to our channel. In today's video, we will be exploring the inspiring story of how two poor Jewish immigrants, Harry and Jack Warner, bought a second-hand movie projector and went on to create one of the most iconic and successful film studios in history, Warner Bros. Join us as we delve into the incredible rags to riches journey of these brothers and discover how their vision, determination, and hard work transformed the world of cinema forever. So sit back, relax, and let's dive into this fascinating tale of American entrepreneurship and success. A century of blockbusters. The epic history of Warner Bros. The story of Warner Bros. Is one of resilience, hard work, and immigrant success. The Warner brothers, Harry, Albert, Sam, and Jack, started their journey to fame and fortune as young children who immigrated to the United States from Krasnosielc, Poland, along with their mother. Like many immigrants, the Warner brothers had to adjust to a new country and culture, including the anglicization of their Yiddish-sounding names. Despite the challenges they faced, the brothers had an entrepreneurial spirit and a passion for the movies. They invested in a movie projector and began showing films in mining towns across Pennsylvania and Ohio. In 1903, they opened their first theater, The Cascade, in Newcastle, Pennsylvania. It was a humble beginning, with Sam and Albert investing just $150 to present two films. But from those modest roots, Warner Bros. Grew to become one of the most influential movie studios in history. The company's commitment to preserving historical landmarks is evident in its efforts to save the original building of its first theater. Warner Bros. Recognized the historical significance of the building and worked to save it from being demolished. The Warner Brothers' legacy is one of immigrant success, hard work, and a love for movies that continues to inspire filmmakers and audiences alike. In the early 1900 seconds, the Warner Brothers embarked on a journey that would change the course of cinema history. In 1904, they founded the Duquesne Amusement and Supply Company, a Pittsburgh-based firm that distributed films. 8 years later, they began producing their movies, and in 1918, they opened their first studio on Sunset Boulevard in Hollywood. The Warner Brothers quickly became a household name in the film industry, with Sam and Jack producing the pictures and Harry and Albert handling finance and distribution in New York City. Their first nationally syndicated film, My 4 Years in Germany, was released during World War I and was based on a popular book by former Ambassador James W. Gerard. But it was Rin Tin Tin, a dog brought from France after the war, who would truly establish their reputation. Rin Tin Tin's success was so great that Jack signed the dog to star in more films for an impressive $1,000 per week. Rin Tin Tin became the studio's top star, and Jack nicknamed him the Mortgage Lifter, an indication of his enormous success. Under the guidance of Darryl F. Zanuck, who served as Jack's right-hand man and executive producer, the Warner Brothers continued to experience success in the film industry. They hired Ernst Lubitsch as head director, and his film The Marriage Circle became the studio's most successful movie of 1924, earning a spot on the New York Times Best List for that year. Despite the challenges that lay ahead, the Warner Brothers had established themselves as a force to be reckoned with in the world of cinema, and their legacy lives on to this day. Despite its early struggles, Warner Bros. Began to hit its stride with the help of John Barrymore, the Broadway actor they cast in the lead role of Beau Brummel. The film was a resounding success, earning critical acclaim and a spot on the prestigious Top 10 list of the year by the New York Times. This success prompted Harry Warner to sign Barrymore to a long-term contract, cementing the studio's status as a rising star in the world of cinema. By the end of 1924, Warner Bros. Was a force to be reckoned with, competing with the Big Three studios of First National, Paramount Pictures, and Metro-Goldwyn-Mayer. The studio's success allowed Harry Warner to convince filmmakers to invest in a $500,000 newspaper advertising campaign, which he saw as an opportunity to establish theaters in key cities like New York and Los Angeles. With the backing of Wall Street, Warner Bros. Continued to expand its reach. In 1924, the studio purchased Vitagraph Company, a pioneer in film distribution with a nationwide system. They also began to experiment with radio, establishing KFWB, a successful radio station in Los Angeles. Warner Bros. Was truly on the rise, and its innovative approach to filmmaking and distribution was changing the industry forever. From black and white to blockbusters. The evolution of sound, color, and style at Warner Bros. The birth of synchronized sound in film was a game-changer for the industry, and Warner Bros. Was at the forefront of this revolution. Despite initial resistance, Sam Warner recognized the potential of sound in films and convinced his brothers to make the change. Warner Bros. Then established Vitaphone, signed a contract with Western Electric, and began producing films with music and effects tracks. The success of their synchronized sound drew the attention of other studios, and soon all major studios were exclusively making sound films. The release of The Jazz Singer in 1927, which included sound segments of Al Jolson singing, became a sensation and marked the beginning of the era of talking pictures. Warner Bros. Acquired a larger lot in Burbank, expanded by acquiring the Stanley Corporation, and even entered the music industry by acquiring Brunswick Records, radio companies, foreign sound patents, and a lithograph company. However, the Great Depression and financial challenges led the studio to shift its focus from musicals to profitable swashbucklers starring Errol Flynn. Despite facing numerous obstacles, Warner Bros. Continued to innovate and push the boundaries of filmmaking, leaving an indelible mark on the industry. A pre-code realistic period of Warner Bros. During the early 1930s, the market for musicals collapsed, causing Warner Bros. To shift its focus to socially realistic storylines. With their many gangster films, the studio became known as the Gangster Studio, producing box office hits such as Little Caesar and The Public Enemy. James Cagney and Edward G. Robinson starred in many of these films, becoming some of the studio's top gangster stars. One of their critically acclaimed films was I Am a Fugitive from a Chain Gang, which questioned the American legal system and ultimately led to the release of the protagonist and other chain gang prisoners nationwide. Despite the success of their gangster films, the studio faced financial struggles during the Great Depression, resulting in the departure of Zana and the loss of over $2.5 million, including a devastating fire that destroyed 20 years' worth of films. However, relief came with the New Deal, allowing Warner Bros. To become profitable once again. In the mid-1930s, the studio shifted its focus to more moralistic, idealized pictures, producing historical dramas, melodramas, and adaptations of bestsellers. Stars such as Bette Davis, Olivia de Havilland, and Errol Flynn became some of the studio's top talent, and the studio was forced to abandon its realistic approach due to the enforcement of the Hays Code. Despite some conflicts with stars such as Bette Davis, many of the studio's employees considered Albert and Harry Fair. The colorful world of Warner's cartoons. The early days of Warner Bros. Cartoons were steeped in musical cartoons, with Hugh Harman and Rudolph Ising at the helm. They introduced the lovable character Bosco in the first Looney Tunes cartoon, Sinkin' in the Bathtub, and created the sister series Merry Melodies in 1931. However, a contractual dispute in 1933 led to Harman and Ising breaking away and taking Bosco with them to MGM. This forced Leon Schlesinger to start his studio, Leon Schlesinger Productions, which continued with Merry Melodies and began production on Looney Tunes starring Buddy, a Bosco clone. By the end of World War II, a new team of talented directors was formed at Schlesinger's studio, including Friz Freleng, Tex Avery, Frank Tashlin, Bob Clampett, Chuck Jones, and Robert McKimson. Together, they developed a fast-paced, irreverent style that made their cartoons popular worldwide. Avery directed Porky Pig cartoons in 1935, establishing the character as the studio's first animated star. The studio's roster of popular characters soon expanded to include Daffy Duck, Elmer Fudd, Bugs Bunny, and Tweety. In 1944, Warner Bros. Bought Schlesinger's cartoon unit and renamed it Warner Bros. Cartoons. However, senior management showed little interest in the unit, and it suffered from a lack of support. Jack Warner was reportedly so ignorant about the animation division that he believed it produced cartoons of Mickey Mouse, the flagship character of Walt Disney Productions. He even sold off the unit's pre-August 1948 library for a measly $3,000 each, a short-sighted transaction in light of its eventual value. Despite these setbacks, characters such as Bugs Bunny, Daffy Duck, Tweety, Sylvester, and Porky Pig became central to Warner Bros.' image in subsequent decades. The evolution of Warner Bros. Under different leadership. In the late 1950s, Warner Bros. Found its footing once again, experiencing a revival with a string of successful film adaptations. Plays such as The Bad Seed, No Time for Sergeants, and Gypsy were turned into box office hits, with Jack Warner's name splashed across the studio's press releases. Even as Hollywood's golden age began to wane, Warner Bros. Remained profitable thanks to films like My Fair Lady in 1964, which spawned the profitable subsidiary, Warner Bros. Records. Despite changes in management and ownership, Warner Bros. Continued to thrive, releasing beloved films such as Blazing Saddles, A Clockwork Orange, and Deliverance. The company even branched out into other industries, with ventures such as Atari, Inc. and Six Flags theme parks. The success of the partnership with 20th Century Fox for The Towering Inferno in 1974 led to more collaborations between major studios, while the formation of the Burbank Studios with Columbia allowed Warner Bros. To share the costs of film production. However, it wasn't until the acquisition of Lorimer Telepictures in 1989 that Warner Bros. Found a solution to their studio lot situation. With control of the former MGM studio lot in Culver City and Sony's purchase of Columbia Pictures, Warner Bros. Suddenly had two studio lots at their disposal. Robert Adali took the helm as chairman of the board and co-chief executive officer in 1980, and later as chief executive officer alongside Terry Simmel as president and chief operating officer. Under their leadership, Warner Bros. Continued to innovate and produce hit films, solidifying its place as one of the leading studios in Hollywood. The acquisition of Lorimer Telepictures and the former MGM lot proved to be a game-changer for the company, allowing them to expand their operations and continue to push the boundaries of the film industry. In a momentous decision that set the entertainment industry abuzz, James Gunn and Peter Safran were appointed as the new co-chairpersons and CEOs of DC Films in November 2022. With their combined expertise in film and television production, the duo's vision was set on ushering in a new era of superhero storytelling. In line with this, the studio was renamed to DC Studios and established as an independent division of Warner Bros., a move that signified the company's commitment to investing in quality superhero content for years to come. As the film and television landscape evolves, DC Studios under Gunn and Safran's leadership stands poised to push the boundaries of storytelling and bring to life some of the most iconic characters of our time. Thanks for watching.